Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here at the last sessions of the day. At this stage, you will know the drill on how this introduction goes. But if somehow this is the first time you've joined us, welcome, welcome, welcome. We've just done 27 sessions over 2 days. But we saved the best for last. So if you're here hanging out with us, I'm super excited. Jump into the chat and let me know you can hear and see everything A-OK. This is the Growth Club Summit presented by the firm and backed by Intuit QuickBooks. We're jumping into workflow, AI compliance, productivity, and all kinds of things the last couple of days. And right now, we're jumping into App Advisory and how do you turn App Advisory into a profit center in your firm. Joined by the wonderful Rob Stone. If you know Rob, he's a legend of the industry and been around a long time. The quick housekeeping, all sessions are recorded and transcribed thanks to the team at Vinyl. There is one CPD point available in this session, and this is your lucky last chance to win $500. Share your best moment online. Just jump on LinkedIn. You can tag me, tag the firm, use Growth Club as your hashtag, and tell us what you've learned over the last 2 days. Huge thanks to our partners at Intuit, as well as the other partners, including Appventory, who are running and leading this session today. This session is App Advisory that pays, how to turn tech advice into a profit center. Rob is a legend. You're going to love what Rob has to say today. I caught up with him last week to go through the content, super practical stuff and really insightful on the things that Appventory can actually do for you. If you've not seen it, you're going to get a good chance to check it all out. Rob, I'm going to hand it over to you and let you take us away for our final session. Thanks for being here. And it is now over to you. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, Trent. We're thrilled to be here. My name's Rob Stone. I'm here today to talk about Appventory, which is a brand new tool. And I'd like to talk about app advice. The reality is you're already doing it, but maybe you're not actually charging for it. So today, we want to show you with this new diagnostic tool, which is a game changer, what this means for you and your firm. If you've got any questions, please connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll put my details up at the end. And excitingly, we've got a offer of up to $800 for you at the end as well. Hey there, we've got a busy agenda today. We're going to move through this very quickly in the 40 minutes, split it half and half, a bit of context around why the world's changing, and then take you through a demonstration of Appventory and try to make it relevant and contextual to you and your firm. And then at the end, I want to show how you can avail yourself of lots of 400 USD subscriptions of Appventory for you and your client as a special thank you to the firm and the Growth Summit. Awesome idea. Okay, so this is me. Or is it actually an image created by ChatGPT about me with my first Amstrad computer way back when I was up in Armidale? This is back in the days where on a property sheep farm, we'd go around and with a little red elders book, write down all the stock and then come back, reconcile it. Dad would keep his accounts, do all the bookkeeping and whatnot, and then at the end of the year, take it into Armidale and then do the accounts, and then basically be out of sync for another 12 months. But I've got to say, from the green screen when I was a little boy to where we are now, geez, we've seen a lot of change, and I can only expect we're going to see more change. But I was very fond of that initial Amstrad computer. So the one thing that hasn't changed is interfaces. Interfaces kind of evolve, but you still need an interface to be able to talk to a computer. And it could be a dashboard, could be a mouse track, could be a keypad, unique plugs, cables, audio, amazing things like vinyl. So there's a lot of things that you can use to interface with a computer, a CPU at the end of the day. It's an important point because I think sometimes when there's a lot of change in life, it's good to go back to the fundamentals. We will always need an interface. This is the look of a new interface, but it's still an interface. This is the way that we are now, and I guess our children are going to begin to be natives to this interface, where they can have conversations with a non-reasoning engine, but something that can actually give the optics that it is reasoning. It is still a case, like any interface, rubbish in, rubbish out. So I think it's beautiful. I think I'm excited about this new age, but I think there's also a lot of uncertainty, fear, uncertainty and doubt. And I'd like to just kind of say during the course of this initial setup, change is your friend. Change can be difficult to understand, but we've been through so many waves of change before, and this is just another wave. So I thought this was funny. I also thought it was quite biased as well. I asked ChatGPT to show if it was an accountant talking to itself as a human client, how would it actually picture itself? And it gave me these two options. And I was like, okay, a little bit biased. I think it's pretty obvious why. And then I was like, well, let's take it up a level and ask what it would look like if they were Hollywood actors. And I don't know about you, none of these people look particularly happy, which is a little bit sad and depressing. And if you've seen Accountant 2 on the right-hand side, Ben does actually crack a smile during the course of that movie. I guess what I'm trying to show here, without taking too much of your time, is this is incredible. But yes, we need to get head around change, but some things won't change, and that's your ability to have more asymmetrical information about your clients than what a general horizontal large language machine learning platform can actually deliver to us. I just put this in for fun because, frankly, I love Luca Pacioli, and I think he's done more for this world than nearly any other person. Without two-sided accounting, we cannot make financial decision-making under uncertainty. So it all stems back to this person. Now, ChatGPT, it's one of many horizontal large language models out there. The adoption rate is historic. The adoption curve is slowing down, mostly because of people using other large language models. But I would argue that we are not too far off the peak point of any curve when it comes to the hype. And this is what you can see in the middle graph here. The hype curve, it's not just ChatGPT, it's this whole sector. We're getting close to this peak inflated moment of expectations. And there's always been that old adage of, the short-term impact is probably being overestimated, but the long-term ramifications are probably being underestimated. Why have I got pigs can fly? Because often during this point of any hype curve, we are expecting these large language models, agentic systems, and this whole category to literally change the world. And obviously, here's a picture of a pig flying. I would argue, though, that this is actually a pig falling, not flying. So again, it's a matter of perspective. So if we go back here, and I'll just log out of that. I want to start here by saying you as an accountant or a bookkeeper, it isn't about moving straight into your firm around changing processes and adapting it to the MPC protocols with Claude or agentic workflows or even agentic systems. You're all using SaaS now, and there's still going to be processes that you do manually. For me, it's the application of what you have here in front of you as a tool belt for actually affecting change inside your firm. So SaaS is still here to stay. And I want to make that really, really clear for a variety of reasons, one of which is just cost. It's still being validated how expensive it is versus SaaS when it comes to actually running large language models within your firm and the systems that kind of predicated on that. Now, not all of these AI workflows are created equally, and that's really important. And in any business, the human touch and the relationship that you have with your clients counts for so much. And systems, regardless of what they promise, always have an inextricable gravity attached to them, that the more complex they are, there's a greater chance that they're not going to work in all situations. So my gut and crystal ball moment is we will talk about augmentation, not about replacement, but we'll only be getting up to about 80% of the processes. We'll experiment, we'll try, we'll put it in place, and then there'll be parts of it where we're grossly disappointed. And people kind of go, you know what, sometimes it's just easy to use the SaaS product that we know, but we will augment certain parts of it. So we're in front of us a really interesting time where we will see change in our processes. But the one thing we can't do is drop the ball on how we make our clients feel and meeting their expectations as clients, because fundamentally that's where the majority of new business comes from for accounting and bookkeeping firms, is word of mouth. We can't track it very well, but I think we can all agree word of mouth and that referral system is fundamentally where the majority of our business has always come from, and I would argue will probably continue to come from in the future. Now, change is happening. We're wondering how fast will this change occur? I'm not being political here. I just wanted to use ChatGPT, and Donald Trump renders very, very well. Now, this is a classic. You haven't seen this before. When I first saw this, it blew me away. Physical change takes longer than digital change. Now, this is in New York, one of the main roads there. I think it's Fifth Ave, and it's at the turn of the century, 1900. And you can see here on the left-hand side, it's all horses and carriages except for one automobile. And then 13 years later, you can only spot one horse amongst all of the automobiles. Now, 13 years takes a long time to change at that point of time in history. But I would also argue when I was in practice many, many years ago, I first started out as an intern for an insolvency company and bankruptcy company called Ferrier Hodgson here in Sydney. And I was in charge of doing a lot of faxing. And I would argue back then I probably wasn't even very good at the faxing. We are still selling faxes. They are still here today. We have obviously moved the majority of communication to email, thank God. But the email and that change from fax to email was another big change, as it was obviously the internet. But it's change we've experienced before, and this is just another moment of time of change in our lives, professional lives. I am particularly grateful for this change. I don't know about how you feel about this, but moving from a search engine optimization world where I type into Google and I go, hey, I need an answer, and it shows relevance of websites, and then I go into the websites and I try and find the answers there. That's great. Me now using ChatGPT as an answer engine optimization there on the right, it goes into the websites and it comes back with answers. And, Pareto's optimization, I get the majority of what I need from that return of whatever they've looked over on the internet. It's awesome. I love it. And with that, I've saved myself a lot of time. If I want to dive deeper, I click in and I go to the source of those answers. Now, anyone who hasn't used ChatGPT or any of the other answer engines, you have to. I would argue it's not going to be long before it starts being mandated in school, because this is the new way that we are interfacing with the internet. And even searching for new apps. We're seeing the decline of G2 and Capterra because people are all going through these answer engines as a first point because it's just so easy. And this is the final context slide that I want to share with you, because I think it was Michael Wood from Translucent. He said a really great thing, and he goes, and I think this is online, he said, the future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed. I love that. And this is a picture 5 days ago of a self-driving taxi service in LA. Now, we don't have self-driving taxis here in Australia yet. So this change will come. And I guess what I'm trying to say is the fact that you're just here engaging in this type of, environment, learning about what's new, puts you already at the front, and you're at the forefront of what the future is going to be like. So you should take confidence from that. Okay, the big four. Australia loves the big four. We've got the big four banks on the left. And I would argue, and we can have a discussion about that, but on the right, these are the big four ledgers that we have in Australia. Now, interestingly, on the right-hand side, they all have one thing in common, and that is the single ledger. Now, the single ledger was a really great concept. And as I alluded at the very start, my father would take in all of his receipts, and then once a year, both ledgers from which the accountant had and my father had for the property, there was a single source of truth there. They were the same, and it was great. And then they were out of sync for another 12 months. And this is well before GST came onto the Australian shores. But the single source of truth was a game changer for everyone with a ledger. And I would argue nearly everyone here online today uses the single ledger as a single source of truth for your records and your clients' records. And this is the bit that I want to then bridge over and say, what is the new single source of truth? And this is where we're going to talk about Appventory. Now, Appventory is, if you take one thing away from today's webinar, Appventory is the single app stack between you and your clients. So you have real-time visibility over what your app stack that your client's using. Why is that important? Payroll is heavily regulated. Obviously, we'll just cut that out. So why is that important? In the future, we think more and more agentic systems, AI workflows will be used in parallel to augment the payroll expense line, which means your subscription line is going to increase over the next 5 to 10 years. And with that, the complexity will require of just any type of app stack will increase. And we think it's time to have a single source of truth for all of the app stacks that your clients are using. And I love this quote by Rudyard Kipling. I keep 6 honest serving men. They taught me all I know. Their names are what, why, when, how, where, and who. And they are the 6 things that we're going to go through with Appventory now. So, why Appventory? It's based on a lot of research that we've done over the last 15 years, which basically shows business performance is correlated to the quality of the tech that clients use. Now, knowing that is a very big difference between actually doing something about it. Most businesses don't have a formal tech roadmap of what they're doing today and where they'd like to improve their technology and processes over the future. And to be fair, most deprioritize the implementation because it involves change management, and it's not just at the tech layer, it's at the process layer as well, which makes sense. It's also an opportunity as an advisor. So the gap's expanding. There's a lot of factors coming in. We touched on it before, but there's a lot of competitive pressures. We're all time poor. Staff change is always present. Increasing costs. Overlapping functionality is a big one, particularly with this Cambrian explosion of building software. The cost of building software is falling, which means there are more and more point solutions coming into market, which is excellent for innovation, but also makes it increasingly harder to evaluate and then implement software. Ton of tools out there that really focus on the bottom here around app spend and app procurement. Appventory is separated from that in the sense that it's not just about app spend, it's about app usage and about app sentiment. And then what are we going to do about it? Interestingly, it is the only solution in market that is actually putting the accountant and bookkeeper first, and any software consultant as well, where they can see a portfolio of clients. Every other solution is focused on a one-to-one basis. So, tech discovery, what is it? Let's just debunk all the myths. It requires visibility, utilization, and effectiveness every time. That's the iron triangle of tech discovery. So you know who's using it, what are they paying for it, and actually does it meet the needs of your business outcomes and for your staff. Hence why we have spend, usage, and sentiment. What do we see in the future? Well, it could be varying degrees of levels. I think at the very bottom end, it's just the ability to talk about it. Often we get asked by SMB clients, what should I be using? It's referred to someone else, or you actually come up with an opinion, do some research, but 9 times out of 10, it's not billable with. So there could be some very basic value-added services. For instance, later on I'll show you, we can print a 1-page PDF that just says, hey, this is what your app stack is today. And that costs you nothing to actually produce that. There you move up into slightly higher value-added services when you're actually looking at what could you provide with referrals to external tech advisors. And then you've got internal referrals as well, where you're actually thinking about how do I monetize the implementation and the ongoing service of an app stack or a portion of the app stack, such as the accounting and financial apps. 1 page is super simple. What am I using? Is there any shadow IT there? Is there risk still being exposed by my staff and team by not actually shutting down subscriptions that they're not using, as well as any empty seats as well? Now, just skipped over a slide because I really want to come to this point here. Very often don't know the aggregate overview of what our clients are using within our firm. So, say if we had 100 SMB clients, 98% of them could be on QuickBooks. How many of them are Mailchimp? Most of them are on Appventory, then Dex. Now, but just having this visibility of what your clients are paying for and what are they using year on year helps you prioritize. Maybe with Dex, if you're not part of the partner program, would it be beneficial to actually go and explore what that looks like? The reality is, if we don't know, we can't make decisions. Okay, so standardization and prioritization. Standardization, that's another unique piece which I'll show you in the demo very, very soon, I promise, because you're allowed to create house recommendations. And then prioritization is saying, well, once we know what our future state should look like for our clients, where do we actually start making the effort? Often it's, return versus effort involved to actually create that change. So let's go in through and reveal how you can see your own firm first and how well do you actually know it. And this is the scary thing. We know our known knowns. I promise you, when you implement Appventory and you run your own firm over it, you will find out that you have a lot of unknown unknowns when it comes to apps that your team are using. We had that experience. Every firm that we talk to has had that experience when they use Appventory, and I can promise you, you will as well. So how do we do it? And this is where I am going to jump into, and this is a live version of Appventory, and I'll just expand it out a little bit. Now, we've got a practice view and then a business view. The business view here would be of your firm. Here, it is of CoachBar, and Appventory is a part of CoachBar. Now, the way we bring in this information is through the integrations. Super simple to do. You connect your ledger, and here we use QuickBooks, and we connect our email provider service. And for us, it is Google Workspace. For you, it's most likely going to be Microsoft. Why do we do that? We do that because we will use the data anytime you or your team log into an app with that single sign-on. So we can see who's using what and with what frequency, which is fantastic. And obviously, from the accounting software, we can see what the spend is. Now, that's great. What does that actually look like in reality? So this is us showing you what it looks like here at CoachBar. And you can see here we have 62 people and we've got 62 apps. There's a few fractional people that are working with us who we've given access to apps, so it's up to about 89. We spend a lot through the apps, but we're looking to reduce it as well, which is great. Next panel down, you can see that we've got the upcoming renewals for when these big chunky license fees are coming up. Sometimes they're monthly, they're definitely annual. We can show you the year-on-year app spend, how that changes over time, which is useful for budgeting purposes. App spend by the functional owner. You can see here I have only 3 apps, which is great. App spend by department as well. App spend by category. Now, we haven't put in problematic apps here, but I'll show you what that is later on. App spend by month, super useful as well. App overviews. We have a comprehensive action and to-do list as well, because we want to be able to start making this automated so that when you see actions that need to be done, it can go through to task management, which can then flow through to recurring items or even to a brand campaign as well. New apps that have come on board as well as new users as well. Now, the bit up the top here of organizational sentiment is the bit that I love. And it really is just another point that makes Appventory just so unique. We've all been asked to do pulse surveys around employee NPS. It's like, maybe once a week, once a fortnight, how are you, what checking in, how do you feel about work, etc., etc. We've taken the same concept and applied it to sentiment towards AppStacks. So in essence, it's a pulse survey inquiring about the effectiveness and the relevance of apps amongst your team. You can customize it as well, which is fantastic. And we've got some new AI-powered cost-saving opportunities at the top. that is there to kind of give you insights around where there's overlap of functionality between two particular pieces of software that are within your app stack so that you can make a decision. So I'll go down and just click on myself as an example, Rob Stone, and you can see here a complete list of all the apps that I am using. As a business, we've got the mapping of all the spend. And then when we go into the apps, this is where it's super powerful. We can see here for all the apps, the app spend, what was last year, the percentage change, the average month. We can even set up what is going to be the amounts going forward, which is really useful if you get something on a promotional code and you know it's going to true up into the recommended retail price going forward. You can assign the departments, and then here the employee ratings is the star system review, which is awesome. And then when you drill in to one of these apps, this is where it becomes a system of record, which I love. Similar to the concept of a ledger, over time, you will have a system of record of what your clients' app stacks are today versus where they're going to be in the future. So you can see the overview around spend, employee ratings, who's owning it. You can even go and start moving into budget allocation, the app's users, go down into expenses, and then you can attach contracts in for each of this. And this one here is really, really powerful because you can map out the integration flow between your top 10 apps around a core app, which is really, really powerful. So, is it a one-way integration, two-way integration? Now, this is probably, I would say, the double black diamond of app advice. Super relevant for software consultants, maybe not relevant for everyone else. But again, we're building a tool that will allow you to go from, I guess, the green run, where you just want to be able to say, hey, this is the financial app stack that we recommend to clients, all the way down to the double black diamond of saying, hey, we've got financial apps, operational apps, and we do the implementations and the ongoing maintenance of those apps as well. And then we go to space for activities as well, which we'll come back to a bit later on. But I would like to go down and just drill in on these apps. So we can see here that Figma and Notion are most loved, and we've got a few unloved ones. So let's find out why Miro is unloved. So we go to apps, and we will go down to the Miro, and you can see here that it's 4.08, which is actually pretty good on the whole. And if we look at the survey then for Miro, and we will go into the survey. Oh, we can build a survey really, really quickly. One time, quarterly, semi-annually, annually. You can move through to the exact questions that you would like to use. Even if, like, hey, we can see that you haven't used this for the last quarter. Do you still need this license? And if I discard this and close, and I go into completed surveys, because we've got no active surveys now, we've got a few draft surveys, and here's the completed ones. If we look at the insights, this is really powerful, and it gets more powerful over time because it creates a trend line. So the survey insights, which if you want to, you could just send a report to other people inside your team or to your clients. And you can rate the satisfaction. You can see the histogram of the breakdown of that satisfaction between users. Importantly, is it critical? If it's not critical, that gives you another insight to it. And who has responded and who hasn't responded. I call this negative benchmarking because those 10 people here who haven't responded, they're the ones that I actually need to go and engage with about why they haven't responded at all, which is an insight in itself. Now, all of these can be changed to how you want to. This one here is just the frequency, the level of access. You can see, again, the histogram here. And have you ever created a board in Miro? Now, if I go to a different survey, you will be able to see that there is different information in that survey, which just shows how you can actually design it differently. So let's just look at HubSpot, which is the CRM that we use. You can see here, the first two panels are the same, and then it varies with the questions underneath that. How often do you use HubSpot? what are the primary activities, and how confident you are in the accuracy. So again, you get to customize this and your clients get to customize this, which is really, really advantageous. Now, when we get down to task management, this is going to be the so what with once you have the visibility over usage, spend, and sentiment. It's like, well, now we can create tasks for our team members as well as for our clients. And everyone's busy, and sometimes you just need to set up recurring tasks. This will actually go into their calendars if you want to set it up with the notifications, or directly go to them via email as well. But it depends how you want to set up the notifications. The nice thing is it doesn't look like it's coming from Appventory. In settings, you go down to the domain setup, put in your own domain, and then it looks like the emails are coming from your environment, which is great. Set up the branding how you like it as well. Now, this is one of my favorite little pieces as well, is we don't dictate to you what is a problematic app. We don't dictate to you if it's approved or recommended. This is a system of record where you get to decide what is a problematic app for you or your clients. And if the survey is going to be 2 stars, you can set it there, and then it becomes a problematic app. Or maybe you have a higher bar and it's you're expecting anything above below 4 stars is problematic, but you get to decide that. Approved apps is something that you as a firm owner can decide what you would recommend to your clients, and they are approved. But you may have some apps that you would only recommend, and that's going to be on a case-by-case basis. But you can actually start creating categories for what you would approve versus like what is an approved app versus just a recommended app versus just a suggested app. And that's where I'm going to go into, this is just some test data, but what does it look like at the firm level? Because that was very much at the client level. So if we go up a level and we look at the firm level, what does this look like? And you can see here, you've got the number of active clients per app stack. So total number of clients here is just 15. I'll come to the revenue opportunity and project opportunity a bit later. But first I wanted to show you that 15 of active clients, you can have the subcategories of clients coming on board. And for those clients that are offboarding, you've got a segment for that as well. And here's the approved apps. You can see how much in total your client base is spending on these apps, the number of clients that are using this app. And again, if you are assigning a dollar cost to setting up, say, a Intuit file, then based on size and based on vertical, you can actually put in what that project cost is. And if you have a maintenance fee or any type of ongoing fee after that, you can put in figures there for what is the revenue opportunity. It doesn't mean you're actually doing it, but it shows you the opportunity for actually creating money from what you may not be monetizing today already. You may be setting up ledgers for free, having it bundled in with the overall cost. If you separate it out, then the clients will be you will be managing the expectations of the clients well by saying this is the project cost of setting up the file and maintaining the file as well. So what else is here in the dashboard for your practice overview? We stack rank what the biggest opportunities are for our recurring revenue as well as the project opportunity cost, which is great. There's also a list of unapproved apps, which could be future opportunities for partner programs or just evaluating what they are because more and more people are using them. And we can also see over time what that monthly opportunity forecast is as well. And again, as we said in the slide deck, we can see here the 10 most used apps by your clients, which is really, really cool. Now, when we jump down into the clients, this is an incredibly powerful dashboard because you can see all of your clients' names in one column, the accounting app that they're using, the industry that they're in, and here's the assigned app stack. So what is an assigned app stack? We are not in the business of recommending software to you. What we do is create a vehicle where you get to decide what software you would like to recommend to your clients. So you create a hypothetical app stack, and it is over here. It's super simple to do. You build it up, and you can see here's a construction one, and we'll go into edit. and you go, these are the apps that I would recommend for a construction client of this size. And I'll just discard those changes. And here, that client is a construction client, it's medium size, annual turnover between 5 and 10 million. All these are variable, you set it yourself. But you can go through and actually start saying by segment and by size, what we would recommend for that particular client. For most of you online, it's going to be just the financial and accounting apps to start with. But those that actually have an opinionated view around what operational apps they could use, so if it's a cafe, is it a point of sale, is it an inventory system, you can start putting those in as well. Now, once you have those hypothetical app stacks, when you go back up to your clients, they are being assigned to each one of your clients. Now, what that then means is, depending on what their app stack is today, and depending on what you've actually defined as required, encouraged, or suggested, you can actually see the opportunity of missing apps for each one of your clients there, which is fantastic. If you've assigned an implementation fee or an ongoing management fee of that, you can then start seeing what that is in these two columns, as well as seeing any problematic apps. And this is where it really comes back to where it's like all of a sudden, for the first time, your client has real-time visibility over what their app stack is, and you as their advisor share that visibility as well, also in real time, which is incredible. It's just another lever, just like what we did with payroll. Real-time visibility there, now you can do it with the app stacks. Will AI agents in the future be as powerful as humans? I don't think so, but they're definitely going to augment the work that humans do. So this system is set up to be, one, the system of record, and two, the single source of truth with your clients. And over time, we'd actually like to be able to create more value add for you when you use this system. But more for that to come tomorrow. Okay, what else have we got in here? I think all of us are time poor. We're always looking to chase billable whips. And this is why we created campaigns. Now, this is only in beta, but this will allow you to say, hey, for this portion and segment of my client base, we want to go out and say this is a portion that's still on desktop accounting software. And so we want to change that. We want to say, come along to, I don't know, a webinar or an evening where we'll talk about the benefits of being on a cloud ledger for you and your as your business. So you can create a campaign here based on that cohort to push that out to them, inviting them to that change. Or it could be a campaign of just saying, hey, we need you to connect your single sign-on, or we want you to, we're coming up to financial year end, and we'd like to do a audit or a health check on your app stack. Could you please send out the surveys to your team? But the point is, setting this up allows it to enable recurring nudges to your clients. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. We have a lot more exciting announcements to come around what's happening in terms of our use of AI and making it a more insightful and actionable workflow. And I can't wait to share that when we launch it. It's a really, really compelling roadmap. But this in itself, as it stands today, is a game changer. And it's super simple to set up for your clients. So moving along, I'm going to jump back into the presentation. Okay, so we've just had a look at how Appventory can be applied to your own business, so you can get real-time visibility, and to every single one of your clients, with them all of a sudden for the first time be able to see what is the true statement of position for their app stack. Now, a business, a client, can come and buy Appventory directly from Appventory, and it's $400 USD per year for everything you just saw there underneath the My Business. It's what we use internally for Coach Bar. But we are here to make sure that you are intermediated with your clients. So we have created these plans for accountants and bookkeepers. The first one on the left is really us saying we want to make sure that you have a Appventory instance for your own firm, which is worth 400 USD. And we know that you're not going to go further until you've tested it out, probably on at least one trusted client who's quite close to you, which is another 400. USD per year. Now, that 800 USD is yours free because we want you to fall in love with Appventory and be surprised by how many apps you're actually using inside your firm. And I'm sure your client will be delighted as well. So from there, we then move up, and it's based on the number of clients that you have. At 500 US dollars a year, that's 50 clients, which is only $10 per year. Here, 1,000, it's actually only for 100 clients. And then at enterprise level, it moves up on a bespoke level because we have not only custom integrations, we also have co-branded portals as well. But the point is, at around about 10 US dollars a year for a client, all of a sudden, they're able to be in complete control of their app stack usage, complete control of their app stack spend, and actually knowing if their teams are loving the tools that they're on, if they need education, or if it's time for change. The big value is the more clients are on there, the simpler it gets in terms of being able to publish out one-page health reports. So there is an asymmetrical return for the number of clients that you have on Appventory. It's a game changer, similar to when the single ledger came out into accounting and bookkeeping well over 10 years ago. But we think this is going to be the next wave of innovation. And there's going to be a lot of change. There's going to be a lot of change out there in our app stacks. I've got no doubt your clients are trying a lot of apps right now as well. So to be able to be on top of that and be in control of your app stack is a great outcome for your clients. And I think they'll appreciate you as the advisor, giving them that visibility which they really demand. Okay, listen, thank you so much for listening to Appventory, listening to me. Appventory is an amazing product. We love it. It's already saved us a lot of money and given us a lot of insights. If you're interested, please link up with me on LinkedIn. That's my LinkedIn address, Rob Stone, Partner Now, and would love to continue the conversation. We have an amazing implementation and onboarding team, so we can guide you through the setup process. But we're here to create something that is going to be useful for you as we move into this new era of AI, this new era of AI agents, agentic systems. Appventory is the tool that will help you navigate this uncertain future where all we know there's going to be rapid change in the number of apps that your clients are using. So let's stay on top of everyone's app stacks. Anyway, listen, that's everything. If you want to find out more, please go to appventory.com or connect with me on LinkedIn. And I'll pass back to Trent. Just a big thank you to Trent and the Journey team. We love the firm. The Growth Summit is desperately needed. So we're just thrilled to be a part of it. Thank you so much, and back to you.
Thank you, Rob. That was awesome. We really, truly appreciate everything you just shared. It's crazy to think what you can do with tech these days, and you guys have been doing such an amazing job with that on the Appventory side. So yeah, I hope everyone's enjoyed that session. You can jump in the chat and let us know what your key takeaway was from this session. Ladies and gents, this is now concluding the Growth Club. This is the end of day 2. We've finished our session and you've sat all the way through. Congratulations, you made it. We made it. Well done. Round of applause for everyone that's been here. On behalf of me and the team behind the firm, we truly hope you've enjoyed all the content and the hopefully the education that's come through the last couple of days. We covered so much from all the new things going on in tech. There was a lot of AI content, marketing, pricing. A huge thank you to all of our speakers, our partners, and the support of the summit as well. None of this happens quietly. There's the whole team at the firm and Journey, our agency, that helped bring this all together. So my huge thank you goes to everyone that's helped make this happen. But I truly hope you've learned something. I hope you've been able to take things away, and I hope that it's been able to help you in your business. So I hope you work through a few of your key items. There will be an event survey, so we'd love to get your feedback on the summit, the content, how you found the format, the systems, the technology we've used. Let us know. We're always trying to find ways to improve it. So on behalf of me, my team, thank you. You're amazing. We hope you've been able to spend some good time with us, and no doubt we have a lot more to come during the year. So I'll come back to you with lots more fun things. But until then, stay rested. You've earned a break. I'll see you all next time. See you later. Bye-bye.